Hi, and welcome to Fort Collins Startup Week. I'm Tami Parker, and this presentation is called Right Pricing for Solopreneurs. Today, we're going to be talking about money and how we're making it and how to do math around it and really just get to know our numbers better. So today in this presentation, you will learn how to analyze the pricing of your services, how to find your most profitable revenue stream, and how to find the value of your man hours, what you're actually making per hour of effort you're putting in. So a little bit about me. I'm Tami Parker. I'm CEO of Unicycle Business Consulting. This picture of me was taken at Fort Collins Startup Week 2020, just before we all went into quarantine. And I really wish we could be together today. However, of all my presentations, this is the one that I'm glad is recorded that you can pause, because I'm going to be having you do some math, and you can always just pause the video and do each step. So it's not so bad. If we were doing this in person, we would need a lot more time because I'd want to give you time to actually do the math. So this video actually works out really well. My background comes from 26 years of big business experience. I worked for giant corporations for a very long time and learned a great deal about business analysis from them, including digging into the math and knowing where the dollars are and knowing how many dollars we're bringing in per man hour. We called that workforce management. And I needed to know what I was paying out per employee for every dollar that was coming in the door, and if we were being profitable and if we were being smart with our money. And that's how I came to this math. It's not going to be that complicated, but some people just don't really dig the whole process. So this video really will walk you through some good steps. So again, today's all about the math. I realize that math can be boring and overwhelming. And that sometimes we have to do what I call theoretical math. We don't necessarily know the numbers sometimes, and that stops us. If we're not sure, we're like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this if I don't know. I'm going to challenge you to assume, to do some estimates. If you're not sure exactly, we're going to do our best guess. And that will help you feel more in control at the end of the day, I promise. Knowing your numbers really just can settle you and help you make smart decisions. There will be a worksheet that's attached to this presentation, and you can get that at Fort Collins Startup Week website. So if you haven't downloaded that, pause this video and go ahead and do that. Or you could email me if you need it and can't find it. My email is Tami, Tami, at unicycle.consulting. It's real important that you have this worksheet. I'm happy to send it over. Feel free to pause this presentation as much as you need to do the steps that we're talking about, or watch it through once and just watch the process, and then maybe get the worksheet, prepare the steps, and then watch it a second time and pause with each step, getting some directions. Because this stuff can feel overwhelming if it's not your wheelhouse. The good news is that it is my wheelhouse, so I'll be guiding you today. So first, we're going to talk about some definitions. One is man hours. That is an hour of a person's time and efforts used to benefit the business. It doesn't have to be the owner's time. It can be anybody's time. But every minute of time needs to be accounted for. Revenue stream. That is a product or activity that brings money into the business. Today, we're going to be using the example of a yoga instructor who gives yoga classes. And so like each class offering would be a revenue stream. Non-revenue driving activities that are required for running the business that do not directly contribute to the bottom line. So these items are not billable to the customer. So these are things that you have to do to run a business and own a business, but you can't bill a customer for that time at all. So step one, we're going to make a list of all of our non-revenue driving activities, including how long we need to work on them per month. So these are administrative duties like returning phone calls or emails or billing, accounting, banking. It includes things like networking and marketing, your sales process, If you write blogs and post them as part of your marketing to drive people to your website, scheduling yourself, scheduling your employees, recruiting, continuing education. If you take any continuing ed classes like this, you're going to want to account for that process. Team meetings, checking emails, just any of that stuff is non-revenue driving. And you're going to add up those hours and get a grand total for the month. Now, if you wish that you were giving more time to marketing, then add up what you wish you were doing a month. So I'll give you some examples. Whoops, I want to go back one. I'll give you some examples. So me personally, I take one office day a week. So Tuesdays are not open in my scheduling tool. I do not take appointments on Tuesdays. I use Tuesdays for my non-revenue driving activities. I also give myself an hour a day to answer emails. So I want to take that out of my scheduling to make sure that I have the time. And I've done that in my scheduling tools. So you cannot schedule an appointment with me at 9 a.m. 9:30 is the earliest that you can schedule with me, because I want that morning hour to see what's come in overnight and to reply to my clients, things like that. So I have to add those up for each week and then fill out the month and get my grand total. In my Tuesday, I have included 2 hours for marketing. I wish I was doing more social media posts and blog posting, and I have that calendared, and that's part of that 8-hour day. If I had it in another day, I would add it separately. I'm not doing that 100%. I wish I were. So it is still in my calculations for our work today because I want that to be part of my schedule. Does that make sense? So pause the recording and sit and add those up. I also use the last day of every month, the last business day, for accounting and billing. And so I take that day into this calculation as well. Okay, so you've taken the time to write all that down and come up with your grand total of non-revenue driving hours per month. Now, step 2, set that math aside. New piece of paper. Answer the following questions for each revenue stream. And this is on the worksheet that you can download. It's just a Word document, and it has a list of questions that you'll ask for each revenue stream. You can just highlight that section and copy it below and do another one. So that if you have, let's say, 5 revenue streams, you're going to make 4 copies of it because there's already one. Okay. And you're going to just take some time to answer these questions. There are more questions on the form that I think are impactful to you, but we're not going to go through all of them here. So how much time did you spend creating the offering? How much time do you commit to promoting and selling the offering? How often is the offering given? In our example today, we're going to talk about a 6-week, 90-minute yoga class offered once a week. So like Tuesday mornings, I teach this yoga class. I don't, but a yoga instructor does. And my customers pay me X amount of money. The class is 6 Tuesdays in a row. And I'm going to send them a follow-up email with some information after the class. This is our example we'll be working with today. So the next question is, how many attendees can we serve at one time? In this math we're going to want 6 attendees per class because we like to give them extra attention. We don't want the class to be too full. For each class or meeting, how much prep time or follow-up time is needed? I mentioned to follow up emails. In our example, we're going to spend a half hour sending everybody in the class a follow-up email with, say, pictures of the poses, maybe a link to a YouTube video of a song that you like to do this work to, a playlist, something like that that you recommend, and maybe some extra work that they can do to get movement in the week. So that's part of this process that this yoga instructor is going to send at the end of each class, and she'll need time to create them, she or he. So now let's talk about the money. We've answered all those questions about each revenue stream. Under each revenue stream now, we're going to do the math around what we take in. So we're going to add up how much you charge for this offering times the number of participants. Again, This example is 6 participants for this yoga class. For the 6-week offering, we're going to charge $350 per person. So $350 times 6 participants equals $2,100. Then we're going to ask you, do you have any money that you spend on materials for this offering? If you do, subtract it from your total. So right now for this yoga offering, we have $2,100, but this yoga instructor brings supplies to everybody. That's part of this yoga class. They bring a couple of tennis balls, they bring a half round, and they bring a yoga mat for everybody gets for free, not for free, but as part of this offering, right? So let's say this yoga instructor spends $40 per person on those supplies. So we're going to take 40 times 6, which is $240. And we're going to take that from the $2,100 total. So we're going to come up with our true number of revenue that offering brings into the business. We're going to complete this step for every revenue stream on your list. So go ahead and pause the video here and do that math. Okay, we've done that math. We know the total number of dollars for each revenue stream that is coming in. Step 3. Now we're going to go back to our calculation around non-revenue driving hours. We're going to take our total and divide it by the number of revenue streams that you have in your business. The example I mentioned earlier was 5. Let's say this yoga instructor has 5 different classes. Maybe they do a prenatal class for women who are expecting. Maybe they do a postnatal class, and then they do like a core class and a Pilates class, and then this regular beginners 6-week offering that we're talking about. So they have 5 different revenue streams that they're using and receiving revenue at right now. So we're going to take that total number of hours that we added up and divide it by 5. So I wrote down my non-revenue driving activities and added them up and came up with 56 hours per month that I commit to my business. That includes my end of month billing day, that includes my office day every week, and that includes a half day a week of networking opportunities that I consider part of my sales process. So 56 hours a month divided by the 5 revenue streams is 11.2 hours per revenue stream. So we're going to go back to our revenue stream hours and add 11.2 hours to it. Now let's talk about this yoga class. We need to come up with those numbers as well. So this yoga class is 90 minutes a week plus 30 minutes of follow-up to send out that email equals 12 hours to actually give the class a month because there's 4 weeks in a month. And then we're going to add the 11.2 hours to administer it. So that total is 23.2 hours committed to this revenue stream. Now we know what our total dollars are already for this revenue stream, right? So we're going to divide our total dollars, which was $2,100 minus the $240 for supplies, which equals $1,860. We're going to take $1,860 and we're going to divide it by 23.2 hours. And we're going to find out the value of our man hours, of the hours that we commit. So for this example, that yoga instructor is paying themselves $80.17 per hour. Not bad. Don't forget, self-employment tax needs to be calculated as well. We're not going there in this presentation. Right now, we are just finding out the value of each man hour. So I threw a lot at you, and I'm going to go through the steps that are on this slide right now. So we're going to take your total number of hours and divide it by the number of revenue streams you have in the business, non-revenue driving hours. Take that total and divide it by the number of revenue streams that you have. Next, we're going to add that average number of hours to each revenue stream. And so we're going to get a total number of hours for each revenue stream, the ones that it actually takes to do it and the non-revenue driving activities we have in owning a business. And then we're going to have that total together and we're going to divide that number by the amount of money. Or sorry, we're going to divide the money by that number of hours. to find the dollar amount that you are making per man hour for that offering. It's a lot. It's confusing. But read the steps again, back this up and listen again, and do this step for each revenue stream. Go ahead and pause, and we'll wait here. Okay, so you've done that for each revenue stream, and now you know what you're actually making per revenue stream. Sit with that for a minute. Let's pause and reflect on our work. My first question is always are there any surprises in this math for you? Do you have one revenue stream that is paying you so much better than others? Were these results what you expected? What is your most profitable offering per man hour? That's an important thing to know. And then from here, you can evaluate if you are charging enough for each offering. And how can you change things in the offering to make them more profitable? Would it be better if you had more participants, less participants? When you're thinking about setting up a calendar to meet your revenue goals, which revenue stream would you like to offer the most? Which one do you enjoy the most? Just take some time to reflect on this math now that you know what you're making per hour. And take a breath. Now we're going to talk about how to use those numbers. We can impact those numbers by doing adjustments to our pricing. Do we need to adjust them? Do we need to increase our pricing or reduce it? Do we need to just increase participants in each offering? Do you charge a premium for one-on-one work? You really should. And this math can help you decide how much to charge for one-on-one work. So same example, that yoga teacher wants to offer private lessons, private one-on-one work. And this is for the customer who, one, wants to feel special, who really wants to dig deep into the work to learn as much as possible from you. And they know they're going to pay more for a one-on-one offering. So using this math, you can choose how much to charge for it, right? Of course, you would charge more than your hourly rate because you could be throwing a yoga class for 6 people and be making much more, right? Next question, do you need to make changes to the length of the offering? So let's say you took this 90-minute class and turned it into a 60-minute class. That would change how much you're making per hour and how many more classes you could offer in a day. So let's say this yoga instructor offers 3 classes a day. By changing one of them to 60 minutes, could she offer 4 and improve her revenue and meet her revenue goals? The next question, can you find efficiencies to reduce your non-revenue driving activities to become more profitable? So let's say you're committing half a day a week to doing social media marketing for yourself. And you actually meet somebody who does social media marketing that could do it for you for $20 an hour. And if you gave that person the work for $20 an hour and taught another yoga class where you brought in $1,860 during that morning, would that totally be worth it for you? Of course it would. So I always recommend that my clients, when they can, outsource anything that is draining their man hours, that they could be doing their work, their passion, the reason they got into business, doing that more. I happen to have a few clients that are accounting firms and bookkeeping firms. And unless you're an accountant or a bookkeeper, you should not be doing that work yourself. You should be paying somebody else to do it because you can really drive more dollars into your business doing your passion than they're going to charge you to do that book work. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be wrong in my taxes and in my accounting. So I'm happy to have somebody else do that. So keep these things in mind when we're thinking about non-revenue driving hours and efficiencies that we can do to really make our business more profitable and save myself some headaches. Next question, Would it be smarter to outsource some activities? Sorry, I just covered that. Sometimes it is. Definitely do the math on that. Once you know what your offerings are bringing you, you can figure out if it's productive to pay somebody else to do some work for you. Planning for the future. So now we're going to talk about your perfect calendar, your dream month. You can go into Excel and create a calendar there. There's templates there. You can just take your wall calendar off the wall and make a copy of it, but give yourself a paper calendar to play with, or an electronic calendar to play with, really. And we're going to create your perfect week. You're going to pencil in all of your non-revenue driving time first. So your office day, networking time, pencil in when you don't want to be working as well. Put your regular hours in. If you want to be home by 3:30 p.m. because that's when your kids get home from school, put that in. You want to mark off any time that you cannot be selling the business, that you cannot be driving revenue, and fill all that space in. And next, we're going to pencil in our offerings, when and how often we would like to give them. So think about your day, this yoga instructor. Let's say that they know that doing 3 offerings a day is kind of their optimum. They're performing at their best. They're not too tired. They're giving excellent customer care. Their energy's good. But they also know that 4 offerings is a little much, right? And they want some variety. So they pencil in obstetrics work with pregnant moms on Friday mornings and postpartum moms on Friday afternoons. And those people pay a little more because the classes are smaller and that's all they want on a Friday. Let's say they pencil in offering 1 and 2 Tuesday mornings and then offering 3 on Tuesday afternoons. And you just fill your schedule of what you wish it was. Now, we may not always do what we wish, right? Our customers may make us change those things, but we're talking about our dream calendar. Okay? And so we're going to pencil in our offerings how we would like them to look. And we're going to fill out the month after we fill out the week. Okay? Now, you know how much money each offering is bringing you total. So you're going to do the math for the whole month. This offering brings in $1,860. This offering brings in $820. This offering brings in $2,015. On and on it goes. Add up your month total. And once you have your perfect month on paper and you've added up your totals, look at it. Did you meet your income goal? Times it times 12, see what your annual income goal would be if you lived your perfect month. If you meet your income goals, then great. Now you have your sales goals. You know how many of each offering you need to sell, how many participants for each offering you need to bring in to meet your sales goals. And as you fill a class, you just check it off. Good, I got that, right? If you did not meet your annual income goal, you're going to want to adjust your calendar. Maybe you need to offer your highest income driver more often. Maybe you need to change the pricing of an offering. Maybe you want more one-on-one clients instead of classes, group classes. Or maybe you need to raise how many people are attending each of your classes. So now that you have the math in front of you and the calendar in front of you, you can make adjustments until you reach your annual income goal. So I'm going to tell you a story. I did do this work one-on-one with a yoga instructor. And she had an income goal of $70,000 a year. And she wanted to be home every day by 3 p.m. to be with her kids. And she didn't want to work Fridays. So we penciled in her perfect calendar. She did have one offering that was only given on weekends, and it did bring some good money, and she only offered it once a month. So we just penciled that one in on the first Saturday of the month. And we added it up, and she missed her income goal, being home at 3:30 and not working Fridays. And she was kind of sad. And I said, well, how much did you miss your income goal by? And she said $12,000. So, okay. So she was $12,000 short of 70 grand. And, she was like, this is my dream. And I said, yeah, but owning a business is not always, just exactly what we want. So I said, is this income, if you had this much income in your year, would that be good for your family? How would that fit into your family's budget? And she said, well, honestly, it's more than I'm making now. So that would be great. And I said, fine, sell toward your dream first, but let's do some theoretical math. And so we added one more offering on Friday mornings. She would have to work Fridays, but she would only work one class, 2 to 3 hours a day, right? We added that in, did the math again on her year, and she exceeded her income goal by adding her Friday mornings. So play with these numbers, play with your calendar. Because her offerings were really similarly priced per man hour for her, that made her offerings interchangeable. If she had one offering sell a lot, that's what her customer wanted. She could pull that out of her dream, pull another one out of her dream calendar and push this one in and know what her math was really easily. And we went over how to play with that and how to do the math again and just check it. And now that you have this video, you could come back and see those instructions over and over if you needed. So that's why it's important to dream first and then adjust the numbers. So that's all of my presentation today. I hope you're not feeling overwhelmed or Tami, you talk too fast about math. That's why I love that this is a video. You can pause, you can go back, but you can do all of this math yourself and you can find out what you're paying yourself per man hour. So thanks for joining me. If you need more help, I do have a special offering for Fort Collins Startup Week participants. There's a link there on the screen that is a way to book a 30-minute Zoom call with me, and it's free. We can talk about your business. We can talk about this math, and I can help you sort this out for yourself. If you have other questions, you can also email me at Tami, Tami, at unicycle.consulting. Thanks again for your time. Have a great startup week and best of luck.